In a stunning late-night announcement that's sending shockwaves through Washington, former President Donald Trump just unveiled what might be the boldest economic proposal in American history. Speaking to a packed crowd in Manchester, New Hampshire, Trump dropped a bombshell that could completely reshape the American tax system as we know it, a radical plan to abolish federal income tax entirely. But that's not even the biggest part. Hidden in the fine print of this massive proposal is something that has economic experts buzzing, a series of direct payments to American families that would dwarf previous stimulus checks. We're talking about numbers that make the COVID-era stimulus look like pocket change. The implications are staggering, and the timing couldn't be more critical as we approach the 2024 election. What's really going on here? Is this just campaign rhetoric, or are we witnessing the opening moves of an economic revolution that could fundamentally transform life for millions of Americans? Stay with me, because this story gets even more interesting. Before we dive deeper into this groundbreaking development, take a quick second to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. The core of Trump's new proposal centers around what he's calling the American Freedom Tax Plan, a complete overhaul of the federal tax system that would effectively end income tax as we know it. During his speech, Trump laid out a vision where working Americans would keep 100% of their paychecks, with no federal withholding. The IRS as you know it will cease to exist, Trump declared to thunderous applause. But here's where things get really interesting. To offset the massive revenue loss from eliminating income tax, Trump's team has proposed a combination of measures that's raising eyebrows across the political spectrum. The plan calls for a complete restructuring of federal revenue collection, shifting away from income-based taxation to what Trump's economic advisors are calling a consumption-based model. This would be paired with what they're terming American Prosperity Dividends, direct payments to qualifying households that would start at $7,500 for individuals and scale up based on family size. The payments would be distributed quarterly, with the first round planned for within 100 days of the plan's implementation. But here's what the headlines aren't telling you. Buried in the 230-page proposal document are details about how this massive transformation would actually work. The plan relies heavily on a combination of new revenue sources, including a national sales tax, significant corporate tax reforms, and what Trump's team calls strategic tariff optimization. Economic experts are divided on whether the math adds up, but the proposal has already gained surprising support from some unexpected quarters. Think about this for a moment. When was the last time anyone seriously proposed eliminating income tax entirely? The idea has been floated before, usually as a theoretical exercise or a campaign talking point, but never with this level of detail or from a former president with a real shot at returning to the White House. The political implications are enormous, and both parties are scrambling to respond. The stimulus payment aspect of the plan is particularly intriguing. Unlike previous stimulus programs, these payments would not be one-time distributions but rather part of a structured system of quarterly payments. The proposal suggests these payments would be funded through a combination of tariff revenues, corporate tax restructuring, and what the plan calls efficiency savings from eliminating the IRS bureaucracy. But can it really work? Let's look at the numbers. The federal government currently collects about $1.8 trillion annually in individual income taxes. Trump's team claims their alternative revenue sources would not only cover this gap but generate an additional $400 billion annually, money that would fund the direct payment program. Critics argue these projections are optimistic at best, but supporters point to examples of similar systems working on smaller scales in other countries. The timing of this announcement is particularly significant. With inflation concerns still lingering and economic anxiety high among voters, Trump's team has clearly calculated that bold economic proposals could reshape the 2024 race. But there's another factor at play here that few are discussing: the global economic context. As other nations experiment with universal basic income programs and alternative tax structures, is America about to leapfrog them all with one massive reform? What makes this proposal different from previous tax reform attempts is its comprehensive nature. It's not just about eliminating income tax, it's about fundamentally restructuring how the federal government collects and distributes money. The plan includes provisions for a 5-year transition period, during which the current system would be gradually phased out while new mechanisms are implemented. This measured approach has earned cautious praise even from some skeptics. The American Prosperity Dividends portion of the plan has captured particular attention. Under the proposed system, a family of 4 could receive up to $32,000 annually in direct payments. These wouldn't be means tested like traditional welfare programs. Instead, they would be available to all American citizens with valid Social Security numbers. The philosophy behind this, according to Trump's economic team, is to return the benefits of America's economic power directly to its citizens. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Several prominent Democrats have expressed interest in aspects of the plan, particularly the direct payment component. While they're quick to criticize the elimination of income tax, the idea of regular government payments to citizens aligns with some progressive policy goals. This has created an unusual political dynamic where traditional battle lines are being blurred. The proposal has also sparked intense debate among economic experts. Some warn that eliminating income tax could lead to massive deficits and economic instability. Others argue that a consumption-based tax system could actually increase government revenues while promoting savings and investment. The truth likely lies somewhere in between, but the mere fact that we're having this discussion represents a significant shift in American economic discourse. Let's talk about the international implications for a moment. How would other countries respond to such a dramatic shift in American tax policy? The plan includes provisions for handling international trade and tax treaties, but the ripple effects could be substantial. Some analysts suggest it could trigger a global race to reform tax systems, while others warn it might isolate the U.S. economically. The proposal's impact on everyday Americans would be profound. Imagine receiving your first paycheck with zero federal withholding for many workers. This would mean an immediate 15–25% increase in take-home pay. Add to that the quarterly dividend payments, and we're looking at potentially the largest effective increase in household income in American history. But there's a catch: the new consumption tax would make most purchases more expensive, though the plan includes exemptions for essential items like groceries and medicine. What's particularly fascinating is how this proposal addresses some long-standing issues with the current tax system. The plan includes provisions for simplifying business taxes, eliminating the death tax, and creating what Trump's team calls a border tax adjustment to protect American manufacturers. These elements suggest this isn't just a campaign promise but a serious attempt at comprehensive economic reform. The political battle ahead will be intense. Congressional leaders from both parties are already staking out positions, with some Republicans embracing the plan while others express concern about its scope. Democrats are split between outright opposition and cautious interest in specific elements, particularly the direct payment system. The 2024 election could well become a referendum on this proposal. Implementation would be complex, requiring not just legislative approval but a massive administrative effort. The plan outlines a transition period during which both systems would operate in parallel, gradually shifting from income tax to the new model. This approach might make the change more manageable, but it also means full implementation would extend beyond a single presidential term. The proposal raises fascinating questions about the role of government in the modern economy. Is it time to completely rethink how we fund federal operations? Could regular government payments to citizens become the new normal? How would eliminating income tax affect economic behavior and social mobility? These are questions we'll all need to grapple with as this debate unfolds. Critics argue that the plan is too ambitious, too expensive, or simply impractical. They point to potential implementation challenges and worry about the impact on federal revenues. Supporters counter that bold reform is exactly what's needed in an era of growing economic inequality and technological change. Both sides make valid points, but the conversation itself represents a significant shift in what's considered possible in American economic policy. As we wrap up this analysis, it's worth considering the historical context. The income tax as we know it has been a fundamental part of American life for over a century. Eliminating it would represent a historic shift comparable to the original introduction of the federal income tax in 1913. Whether this proposal becomes reality or not, it has already changed the conversation about what's possible in American economic policy. So, What do you think about this bold proposal? Could eliminating income tax while implementing direct payments work? How would it affect your family's finances? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear your perspective on this potential economic transformation. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated as this story develops. This could be the beginning of the biggest change to American economic policy in over a century, and you won't want to miss what happens next.